Oh? Really? Indeed. Are you certain? Yes, I agree. This is indeed most distressing. Thank you for informing me. Hello, Duke here, Mom. I'm terribly sorry to disturb you, but I'm afraid a rather appalling situation has arisen. I've just received a report from an anonymous source. No, actually, it's your other daughter-in-law this time. Yes, Diana. No, actually, it appears that she's without blame in this instance. She seems to have been the innocent victim of a most regrettable lapse in security. Some rather unfortunate photos have surfaced. No, goodness no, nothing of that sort, thankfully. No, these are merely what I would term undignified. In a gymnasium. I don't know. Perhaps she feels it helps her in relieving stress. I'm afraid she's not cut from the same cloth as you, Ma'am. When dealing with the Princess of Wales, one must always remember that she married into the family. The establishment had been cleared several times by security. Yes, I agree, it is all rather dreadful. But if I might suggest, we may be able to turn this situation to our advantage. Well, it might, at the very least, provide us with an opportunity for getting rid of the problem. Yes, I agree, Ma'am. I'll have a word with him at once.
Are you sure these photos really exist?
My tip came from a very reliable source.
I just can't understand it. I checked the place out 1,000 times.
I do not require excuses, simply results. Find the source and destroy the negatives before they fall into the wrong hands, as it were.
Look, it's got to have something to do with Taylor.
I am not interested in names, Danny. I am more concerned with damage control. Find the culprit. Deal with him as you see fit. But just do it quickly. Or to put it bluntly, you're out.
You're
I'm telling you, Taylor's your man. I still don't understand why he didn't authorise further investigations.
Yes, well, you see, Danny, such matters are extremely delicate. They tend to put the palace in a very vulnerable position, in case one is mistaken. And in this case, you were unable to produce a snippet of evidence. Can't imagine why. secure.
Have you seen the papers?
Yes, Danny, I've seen the papers.
Well, I was right all along. It was Taylor.
Yes, Danny, you were right.
So can I have my job back then?
Absolutely not. You did us no service by delivering the name of the culprit without any proof. Your mission, may I remind you, was to get rid of the negatives. And in that effort, you failed greatly. Goodbye, Danny.
Charles? Charles!
I'm sorry, but this is not the official palace position, which is that it would be utterly inappropriate to continue with legal action at this point.
No, Giles. It is I who am sorry. Sorry that the firm doesn't know better than to hire advisors that speak out of place.
This directive did not originate from me, but rather from a higher source. Or should I say, the highest source?
Well, I'd like to know just how far I have to distance myself from them to be able to lead my own life.
A highly scrutinized existence is an unpleasant ancillary to the sort of public life which you lead, I fear. One must always be on one's guard against adverse publicity.
Frankly, I wasn't aware there existed more adverse publicity than a snapshot of my glistening, spread-eagled torso plastered across the cover of a national newspaper.
Indeed, on that point we're all in agreement. The photos were entirely inappropriate, and it is most unfortunate that they were allowed to reach publication.
And whose fault is that? This would never have happened if you listened to Danny about Taylor. Instead, you gave him the sack and refused to reinstate him when his instincts proved correct.
May I remind you that Danny is not an innocent victim in this scenario. It was his inattentiveness to his duties which allowed the photos to be taken in the first place. Further, he was given ample opportunity to either locate and destroy the negatives or, at the very least, to procure sufficient evidence against the perpetrator to enable us to prevent publication by legal means. And he failed miserably in both instances. All he gave me was a name and a second-hand account of a very shifty-eyed interrogation. But do not despair for poor Danny. I'm certain that with the release from his responsibilities here, he has gained surplus time to spend with his wife and family.
Yes, no doubt. But where does that leave me?
As you are well aware, several alternatives have been suggested.
Don't speak to me about replacements, Giles. As far as I'm concerned, Dan is the only man for the job. And if he isn't reinstated, I may consider pulling out of public life.
Oh, dear. I wasn't aware of how strongly you felt on this issue. I'll have a word with the appropriate party.
Yes. And will you please let her know? I'm absolutely adamant about continuing with this litigation. I feel totally violated by the whole affair.
I'll mention that as well. I'm afraid the princess is most distressed over the sacking of her bodyguard. She is apparently even contemplating giving up her public duties. Yes, I agree, Mom. It's produced even better results than we could have hoped for. So, it all seems to be sorting itself nicely. Although, on the other hand, this matter does seem to have produced a slightly unpleasant side effect. It seems that Diana is bound and determined to have a day in court over it all. I told her, revenge is not becoming a member of the royal family. She wouldn't buy it. I did employ my strongest methods of persuasion. But as you have no doubt gathered over the years, Mom, the princess is a most stubborn and uncooperative girl. Yes? Yes. Yes, I see. No, I don't wish to seek alternative employment at this time. I know I could well have put an end to it all ages ago, but I thought we'd agreed to use this opportunity to our greatest advantage. No. Having Diana be the first member of the royal family to testify since Edward VII is not what I would term a great advantage. No. Very well, Ma'am. Taylor? No, I'm not certain what's become of him. Yes, he does seem to have done rather well out of all this. One can hardly turn the telly on these days without gazing on his countenance. I should imagine he's enjoying very much, reveling in the splendor of his ill-gotten gains. Well, I assume it makes us look rather powerless, I should say. That is a point. I'll see what I can do, Ma'am.
She looks nothing like your boss.
Such a spectacle. Such hoopla. Yet, such entrepreneurship. I think I've seen enough. And I think the world has seen enough of me in my aqua leotard. There. That's sorted. That's the last the world will see of me at the gym. Driver, let's go. I need a holiday.
Righty-ho, boss.
This club will be even bigger and even better than the last. It'll feature all the latest equipment, and we're going to focus on serving our members to the best of our abilities.
Not on the left, not on the right, right round the bend, but I see the light. Well, loony, round, loony, round, loony, round. Once you do it, you just don't stop it. Loony, round, loony, round, loony, round, loony, round. Once you do it, you just don't stop it.
T-shirts, get your lady guy t-shirts. Large or small, sir? Guy photos, get your guy photos here. You seen him in the newspapers? Now take a look at the real thing.